Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, October 30th. I'm Juliet Bennett Riley here with Ben Berkley, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. So how much would you pay to get out of standing outside in the cold waiting in a line? There's apparently a small industry of professional line standers who confirm there's enough of you out there who would pay enough money to avoid the inconvenience. We'll get to that and headlines in business and tech right after this.
Using only 20% of your business data is like dating someone who only texts emojis. First of all, that's kind of annoying. And second, you're missing a lot of context. But that's how most businesses operate today, using only 20% of their data, unless you have Hubspot, where all the emails, call logs, and chat messages turn into insights to grow your business, because all that data makes all the difference. Learn more at HubSpot.com.
Ride Panda, a company that supplies bikes, e-bikes, and scooters to employers as a worker benefit, has raised $12.6 million to expand its team and platform.
I would just say this is a really nice perk that a company can offer you. You get access to an e-bike or something like that's great. It's still not enough to get me excited about a return to office.
No, same.
Like, I think that's the aim here, right? Is like, hey, we're going to change this policy on you, but like, here's a cool new way to get to work for free, I guess. Good try.
Exactly. And here is what I think is funny about it, because I had the exact same thought. I was like, I'm not going to take a bike to the office. I live in Los Angeles and I've seen enough bikes nearly or actually get hit by cars. I'm not doing it. But the thing about this sort of business model is that while Ride Panda is bringing it to the United States, it's doing very well in Europe. Europe, of course, being a very bike-friendly place.
I guess if I were there, I'll look at it a little differently. But for now, nah, not happening.
Exactly. Now, here is something that is expensive but very cool, and I'm going to confess I want it, though I'm probably not going to pay for it. You may remember Mirror. That was the fitness company. Bryn Putnam was the founder of that. She sold it, I believe, to Lululemon. And her latest venture is Board. Board is a gaming console that players gather around as though it were a board game, except it is digital. So it has a 24-inch screen, and it responds to touch, gestures, and physical objects. So you can put game pieces on it and it will react to them. Now it retails for about $500, but that is only for a limited time. And it comes with 12 games preloaded on it and some game pieces that work with it. I think it is very cool, but I'm not going to spend $500.
Yeah, intrigued, but not with the price tag.
I would go to someplace like a cool board game cafe / arcade that had one, though, and I would pay a fee to use it.
Now we're talking. That feels right. I want to see it in action, because I suppose if you're looking that up against like a video game console, sure, you can see how that price point, you're playing that out for a new Xbox or something, I'm going to be on board. So yeah, if it can really supply that much entertainment, we'll have to just see it in actuality. It's hard to think about this conceptually right now.
Right. Here's something that's even more expensive that I don't want. Robotic company 1X's Neo is available for pre-order. Apparently, early adopters can pay $20,000 for this baby, or you can do a $500 per month subscription. This is a lot. This robot can help with chores. It does sound very useful. It looks like it's very humanoid. It's got eyes, but like no other features. But here is the catch. If you have this robot in your house, you must agree to let human teleoperators see inside your home through the robot's camera to gather more training data. You can obviously have rooms that it doesn't go into. You can turn it off. But all I can think of is, wow, what a Black Mirror episode if literally anything goes wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it feel like a raw deal. Like if you're already paying a lot for something, but then you're also paying in privacy.
Yeah.
Eventually it could work. I think we all dream of chores magically getting done. And, I guess we can only get there incrementally. And this is a step on that journey. So sure. But also, can we just talk for a second about this thing's face? Because if anyone who's watching this hasn't seen it, when you're done with this pod listening adventure, go look it up, because it kind of looks like this fencing mask with like expressive teddy bear eyes on it. It kind of somehow works. Like it's kind of friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not put off by it.
Yeah.
It lacks the appeal of Megan Fox being a robot, which does happen in a movie that I watched called Subservience, where Megan Fox is a robot. But it's kind of cute, though.
Yeah, well, whatever top story we had, we're going to scrap it and we're just going to talk about that movie. Now it sounds great.
You know what my favorite part about this movie is? If you are going to watch the Megan Fox robot movie, skip ahead 10 seconds, 20 seconds. My favorite part of this movie is that at a certain point, The protagonist, who has a very cool vintage car, is able to use that car to get away from her because she can't hack into it like a Tesla. It's like a great argument for having analog stuff because your smart robot cannot hack into it.
Okay. I'm into it.
All right, my last headline of the day is very fun. Control-Alt-Delete is what the public has named a train operated by Network Rail, and that company owns and maintains most of Great Britain's railway infrastructure. So Control-Alt-Delete and similar trains are going to blast leaf mulch off of over 1 million miles of track to prevent issues caused by wet and compressed leaves. Obviously, the public decided to call it Control-Alt-Delete, which should be no surprise to you if you remember Bodie McBoatface. And Ben, there were some other potential names, right?
Yeah, I'm going to call out my two favorite finalists here, which just deserve some love. Leaf Fall Weapon, very good. Not enough people making Lethal Weapon references these days.
Right.
Big cultural failing of ours. And then Pulp Friction, which, yeah, I mean, I like both of them. Control-Alt-Delete, also good. People always know how to be clever on the internet. And also, this is the least offensive version of this that I have ever seen. Because I feel like usually it's just like the most cringe-inducing names.
Yes, and there's nothing that represents any sort of body anatomy.
Yes.
So that's good this time.
I guess that's the shock in all of this.
Yes, it's because it's British, not American.
Yeah, exactly. Thank goodness for that.
Hey, it's Anna Sale, host of Death, Sex, and Money, the show from Slate about the things we think about a lot and need to talk about more. Many of us have something going on behind closed doors, like a listener we called Elizabeth, who told us she's a hoarder.
I see mess beyond probably what most people think of when they think of mess.
We'll work through it all together on Death, Sex, and Money. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
All right, I'm going to carry us on to the main story here, which before we do, just a quick reminder to everyone who's listening, if you don't subscribe to our feed, do that wherever you get your podcasts. It's a nice thing to do. But let's talk about this story, which really, at the end of the day, like most things, it's about people having way too much money. Because I am not someone who would pay upwards of $25 an hour to have somebody wait around for me for something to open or secure me tickets or merch or whatever. Mm-hmm. Not happening. Fortunately, for the people who do this professionally, there are professional line standers out there. There are people who are not me out there, and they're apparently very willing to shell out some real cash to make this happen. So, Juliet, can you tell us what is up with this strange little industry?
Well, what I like about this story is that at first blush, you're like, wow, it's really dystopian that rich people are paying other people to stand in line for them to get access to things like extremely bougie restaurant reservations that are very hard to come by, tickets to limited Broadway shows. This is, of course, mostly happening in New York. And also sample sales where they're like, it's totally worth it because maybe I'll pay a guy $500 to stand in line for me. But by securing that premium spot, I can save thousands on a deeply discounted luxury item that is still very expensive. So it feels a little dystopian, but what's fun about this is I looked up the history of line standing as a profession, and it actually started in a lot of different ways that I guess were even more examples of class stratification. So in communist era Poland, it was actually very common to pay people to stand in line. And this is because there was a shortage in just basic consumer goods, like your basic needs. So, at this time, people who had money would pay people who didn't to stand in line for things like groceries, which is pretty depressing. And there is even a Polish board game you can play that is about waiting in line and trying to like jockey and get a better spot in line, which is, I don't know how true this is having never been to Poland, but there were all these blogs about like how waiting in line in Poland is like very cutthroat and it like involves a lot of deception to try to get in front of somebody, which sounded very interesting. And here in the United States, this practice has actually been very common in politics, especially hearings, because you've got lobbyists and lawyers who want a spot in the hearing, but they don't have time to wait in line. So in Washington, D.C., this has been going on for a really long time, and they charge a lot of money. I found a company's website called Washington Express that claims they've been doing this for 40 plus years, and they charge $60 an hour, and you have to book at least 3 hours to wait in line for a hearing. And there's also a woman that was talking to Business Insider. Her name is Jessica Goff. She founded Skip the Line. She now employs other people to help her out because her most lucrative bookings are Supreme Court hearings. And she has been paid to stand in line anywhere from 24 to 36 hours in advance for some of like these big hearings. And obviously that needs to be done in shifts because most people need to pee at some point in 36 hours.
Yeah, to me, it makes sense in the world of politics.
Yes.
Especially the people who are in the industry now. I feel like they were raised on like walking quickly down a hallway, Aaron Sorkin style. Like they envision their time as the most limited resource in the world.
Yes.
And I guess for everyone, it is. You know, that checks out. I think as you're seeing this really playing out for more like, let's wait in line for like a Broadway show or something.
Right.
It does feel like such a luxury. I thought it was really interesting. Also, just like the size of some of these operations, or one that you called out in New York, I think called Same Old Line Dudes, for kind of this big moment in like fashion sales in the fall. They're doubling from a 35-person staff, which that's pretty significant for what it feels like kind of more of a side hustle-y business.
Right. And so I guess these sample sales take place in the fall. And this is when a lot of these luxury fashion houses are offloading stuff at a very, very deep discount. And for one particular sale at a place called The Row, his guys accounted for 61 of the first 80 spots in line. They were all his guys, and they know how to wait in line. They've got like tents and tarps. They're staying dry because it can rain, it can snow in New York. They're like ready to stand in line. And so you're talking 61 out of 80 first spots in line. That is a lot of wealthy people paying other people to stand in line for them so they can buy things worth several $1,000s that they don't really need, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's also, I guess, a pretty good deal if you're someone who's getting paid to do this, assuming you have the ability to like limit the impact of the elements. Like
right.
If it's like there's a camaraderie and you're just kind of hanging out, you have your phone, you can catch up with people, you can like kind of like live your life just like in one very fixed place for
yes.
24 hours or whatever. Like there are many worse ways to make money out there these days. So I'm happy for them.
If you have internet, yeah.
Yeah, right.
You can do a whole other job.
Yeah.
Like you can just wait in line for 8 hours for somebody else. So these guys are making $25 an hour for Same Old Line Dudes. So yeah, wait 8 hours, make $200 while you're doing your other job.
I mean, unless your original job gives you an e-bike to get to that job, and then you're like, I'm not waiting around for anything, because apparently that's a great perk.
Yes, exactly.
So I guess the last big question here is, would you ever use this in your life? Is there anything that you could see like a use case and be like, actually, I would be willing to pay this money for someone?
Me personally, no. I would never pay someone to wait in line for me at all, for any reason. I would just do it myself. I would consider being paid to wait in line if I was doing it with a friend and it wasn't that long. I feel like I would max out at like 4 hours, maybe longer if it was like fun. Like if it was a lot of us and we were playing Dungeons and Dragons or something that takes a long time. But I will say, having been a person who has had to wait in really long lines, not for fun things, but things like the DMV or like health things.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I once had to wait in line at a veterinarian clinic for probably 8-9 hours with my cat.
Oh.
I could see a person who has children and, you know, it's just like, it does not matter what I do. I just can't do this. I could see that person being like, okay, it is worth it to me to have someone hold my spot because there's just no other way.
Yeah, I could too. Yeah, now that you mentioned, I feel like I came into this piece already being like, I would never.
Right.
And now I'm like, okay, maybe
Yeah.
in the right circumstance. But as someone who, I feel like in a younger version of me, I once did like a Black Friday camp overnight thing with my friends. I didn't even buy anything. What was I doing? I don't know. But it does not sound like something I would want to do or wish upon anyone. But I love that it's an industry.
Right. And I'm coming at this from a very LA perspective. I live right by where the Rose Bowl parade is on January 1st. And my whole neighborhood is just people waiting overnight to get the best seat to watch the parade. And I'm always like, who would do this? It's cold. But when we're talking LA cold, I think when you're starting to talk about Manhattan cold, like the woman who waited with 2 coats on and still couldn't feel her face or her hands to get a Broadway ticket for someone else. And I think when you're starting to talk about like really high-end luxury items, it becomes less appealing to me versus like, oh yeah, I'd wait for 6 hours in line at the DMV on behalf of some mom. Like, sure. Like, I think that to me is where the line is. But, you know, if you'll pay for it, someone will do it.
Yeah. I mean, I assume people are right now kind of like counting up cash, being like, can I pay someone to wait for this next episode of this podcast for me? You don't have to. You can actually do that at home. You can live your normal life and listen to it whenever you want, or don't listen to it at all. That's perfectly fine too.
Yeah, you don't have to even TiVo it anymore. It's right there whenever you need it. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you for tuning in to the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of Hubspot Media. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clarke. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter, so if you're not subscribed, go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co/email. You can also follow us on Instagram at thehustledaily, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey everybody, I've been listening to this great show lately. It's called The Next Wave, Your Chief AI Officer, hosted by Matt Wolf and Nathan Lands, and it's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. So you can catch The Next Wave with Matt Wolf and Nathan Lands, leading AI creators who are your guiding light in the AI and technology frontier. AI technology is transforming super fast, and it's changing every day, and the way we do business and the media landscape is all fragmented, but The Next Wave strives to be the leading podcast on AI technology and how you can actually apply it into growing your business. You can check them out wherever you get your podcasts.